All right, peace, family. The real Willie Lynch. Now I done heard too many people talking about uh the Willie Lynch letter as a hoax. Now Willie Lynch is 1712. He a British slave owner down there in the West Indies, and he tells he come about because they having trouble with the slaves down there. Now I'm gonna tell you who the real Willie Lynch is. They having trouble with the slaves down there, and he give a speech in Virginia to the slave owners of the South and tell them how to control their slaves. You see what I'm saying? But Willie Lynch is like I said, he's 1712. Now, the real Willie Lynch is Johann Blumenbach. Now, how do I know that? Johann Blumenbach created the printing press. Now we know they created laws for us not to read, but that ain't the only thing. They created laws because of Johann Blumenbach. Now we know what we. If you ain't read the Willie Lynch letter, go read it. Now we know what he said. One of the tactics that Willie Lynch said about how you control the slaves is one of the main rules was never for them not to know their history. You see what I'm saying? He say, well, why? How they asked the South Carolina slave owners, the North Carolina slave owners, they called to Germany. Now this in like 1608. Now this is before Willie Lynch. It's like 100 years before Willie Lynch. You see what I'm saying? So even if Willie Lynch ain't real, the tactics were still real. But I'm showing you Johann Blumenbach when they called up to Germany and they asked him, they like, look, how can we control the slave? He said, yo, this is what you do. He was like, do they know that they the Songhai people? Do they know that they from West Africa and from Timbuktu? He said, well, yeah. He said, the slave owner said, well, yeah. He said, well, they mama and them be talking and all that. He said, this is what you do. He said, you take the mamas and separate the babies. You see what I'm saying? Meaning, you take the grown folks, send the daddy to Mississippi, send the mama to Texas, send the babies to Florida. You see what I'm saying? And always keep them separate like that. And then we can regenerate, teach them what we want them to know. You see what I'm saying? Because if we sitting up there knowing that we had a great history and a great kingdom going on at that moment, the War of 1519, when the British ran up in West Africa. You see what I'm saying? You know, this, that, and the third, robbing, raping, and killing, and stealing people, kidnapping, and so. But if we knew that then, we gonna fight for that. You see what I'm saying? Because we know we like, hold on, what you doing? We ain't wanting to leave no grandeur like that. All that gold, you see how the Akan kings be draped out in gold and all that. You see what I'm saying? Uh, so he said, this is what you do. Make laws to where they can't read. Make laws to where, you know, uh, that mean we can't ever learn about the Songhai Empire. So if our mamas and them not raising us, you know our tradition is oral, still to this day. If our mama and them not raising us, we not gonna know what happened before we was born. You see what I'm saying? So if got sent to Florida and my mom's is in Texas and my pops is in Georgia, you see what I'm saying? He can't see. We always separate. So when they so called, the abolitionist scene where they had put that in the law books, and the so called abolitionists went out there, bought their own ships, and went out there moving around. Y'all know who the abolitionist is, trying to catch slave ships or whatnot like that. But once they did, end it. You see what I'm saying? They was like, well, all we gotta do is basically just breed them. You see what I'm saying? In them little farming counts, 3/5 human, cattle. You see, all we gotta do is breed them, and then we'll have an unlimited source. See, the ones that they was bringing from Africa will fight. You see what I'm saying? Because they knew their history. You see what I'm saying? And then, you know, So they would have to try to beat the history out of them. You see what I'm saying? They would have to try to beat the history out of them people. You see what I'm saying? So if you're gonna beat the people out of them, beat the history out of those people, they not gonna never know their history. You see what I'm saying? And if they don't know their history, they ain't gonna have no reason to fight. You see what I'm saying? But when you know your history, you're gonna have a reason that you gonna want to fight for. You see what I'm saying? So the first ones that they was, that's why they stopped bringing them over here straight from Africa, because of that history. And see, instead of having to beat some history out of and beat the names out of people and beat the, you know, everything, the God and everything out of our head. You see what I'm saying? You could just breed people and teach them what you want them to know. And that's what happened to the African Americans. That's why when you can ask any African American you know, and you be like, well, which one the African empires you come from? Don't now one of us know. You see, now we have to go do DNA like we on Maury's show just to find out why our families is it. You see what I'm saying? And that's a total disconnection. So that's why we murder and kill each other, because we don't know who we are. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why. So Johann Blumenbach is the real Willie Lynch. You see what I'm saying? And you can't say Willie Lynch wasn't real. You see what I'm saying? Willie Lynch just could be a code name for Johann Blumenbach. You see what I'm saying? Because Johann Blumenbach taught the exact same thing that Willie Lynch taught 100 years later. You see what I'm saying? 1712, 1608. That's 100 years. You see what I'm saying? Why would they have to go back and re-ask them same questions? So even if he wasn't real, all they did was just write Willie Lynch in. You see what I'm saying? They say that's where the name, lynching come from. When they the strange fruit. You know what I mean? They say that's where the name come from, Willie Lynch. But the real Willie Lynch is Johann Blumenbach, and that's who they got those separate the young from the old. You see what I'm saying? Get them to argue amongst one another. Cause how can you control 500 slaves and it's two people, the slave master and his wife? How? You see what I'm saying? Get them to argue amongst one another. You see what I'm saying? We don't know our history. Anything we know, we had to learn it from the slave master. Because at that time, he wouldn't even let you read your little Bible. You see what I'm saying? Because we would start to figure things out. You see, with a ham, and we would have seen that and would have been like, hold on, Mitzrayim, Egypt. And then, boom, we would have seen some pictures of them pyramids. They would have put two and two together, and it would have been on and popping. You see what I'm saying? Niggas would have died for that quick. You see what I'm saying? We wouldn't even have been thinking about it. Like, no, 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 player. It ain't going down like that. But the real Willie Lynch is Johann Blumenbach, the creator, the creator, the creator of the Willie Lynch letter. How about that one? Now say it's a hoax now. You know who Johann Blumenbach is. You know who he is. I just gave you his history. You see what I'm saying? I just gave you his history. He in Germany. He scholar over there in Germany. And a little inventor created the little printing press. You see what I'm saying? And he had to get that information out 100 years before Willie Lynch, Johann Blumenbach. So the public, you see what I'm saying? If you look up some information about Johann, you might can't, because you're not looking in the right place. You see what I'm saying? Go look up Johann Blumenbach, and he teach the same thing as the Willie Lynch letter say. Y'all share the video, family, because y'all ain't never heard one like this. Y'all share the video, family. Hit that little bell, and I'll be right back. Drop out.